Title for today's story is My Fiancé's Secret Hobby is Driving Me Nuts. Hey Reddit, throwaway because my fiancé, Liam, 32M, is also a Redditor and would absolutely lose it if he saw this. We've been together for 5 years, engaged for 1, and generally have a pretty great relationship. Except for this one thing. Liam has a secret hobby. At least, he tries to keep it secret, but living in a small 2-bedroom apartment in Chicago makes clandestine activities rather difficult. For the past 6 months or so, I've noticed a pattern. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, right after dinner, Liam gets shifty. He'll say he has a call with a client. He works remotely in tech sales, grab his headphones, and disappear into our spare bedroom, closing the door firmly behind him. The calls last for a solid 2 hours. And during those 2 hours, the sounds emanating from the spare room are bizarre. It started subtly, muffled humming, the occasional burst of what sounded like someone enthusiastically narrating something. But it's escalated. Now, I hear dramatic sighs, exaggerated gasps, and once, I swear I heard a very convincing imitation of a car crash followed by someone yelling, "No!" Initially, I tried to be understanding. Maybe it was a weird client. Maybe he was taking some kind of online improv class to boost his sales skills. But 2 hours, twice a week, of increasingly theatrical sound effects? It's wearing thin. I've tried asking him about it. Every time, he gets evasive. Just work stuff, he'll say, or a new training module I have to listen to. He gets genuinely uncomfortable if I press him. Last week, my curiosity reached critical mass. He'd stepped out for a quick errand before his Tuesday call, leaving his laptop unlocked on the kitchen counter. I know, snooping is bad. But I couldn't resist. I opened his browser history. No suspicious websites, no secret communication platforms. Just his usual work stuff and a link to a Twitch channel. The channel name was something completely random, a string of letters and numbers. But the description read, Live Role-Playing Adventures. My jaw dropped. Liam? My logical, tech-savvy, slightly introverted fiancé? A live roleplay? That explained the voices, the sound effects, but why the secrecy? Why the elaborate charade of client calls? Was he embarrassed? Was he hiding it from his more serious work colleagues? Was he afraid of what I'd think? The next Tuesday, when he disappeared into the spare room, I decided to do something impulsive. Our apartment has thin walls. Very thin walls. I pressed my ear against the door. Tonight's performance involves someone with a deep, gravelly voice, presumably Liam, negotiating with a shady merchant for ancient artifacts. The sound effects included clinking coins and what sounded suspiciously like someone hitting a table with a spoon to simulate sword fights. I couldn't help it. I started to giggle. Quietly at first, but then it bubbled into full-blown laughter. Suddenly, the sounds from the spare room stopped. The door creaked open, and Liam stood there, headphones around his neck, looking utterly mortified. His face was bright red. Were you listening?" he stammered. I couldn't stop laughing. "Liam," I managed to say between gasps. Are you playing Dungeons and Dragons on Twitch?" His shoulders slumped. "It's not exactly Dungeons and Dragons," he mumbled. "It's a homebrew system. And it's live. People watch." He went on to explain that he'd gotten into it during the pandemic as a way to de-stress and be creative. He'd built this whole online persona, a charismatic rogue named Jax, and had a small but dedicated following. He was embarrassed because he thought it was nerdy, and that I wouldn't understand. He was worried it would change how I saw him. Honestly, it was surprising. Endearingly so. The image of my usually reserved fiancé dramatically narrating fantasy adventures to a bunch of online strangers was kind of adorable. But here's the thing, Reddit. The secrecy is still bothering me. And the 2-hour blocks of intense role-playing are starting to interfere with our evenings. We barely have any quality time together on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I missed just relaxing on the couch with him. I told him I wasn't judging his hobby. In fact, I was kind of impressed by his creativity. But I also told him that the constant lying and the dedicated call schedule were making me feel excluded and a little bit like I was living with a double agent. He seemed genuinely contrite. He promised to be more open about it. He even suggested I could watch one of his streams sometime. I'm still on the fence about that. But the schedule remains. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he disappears into the spare room. And while I now know he's battling imaginary dragons instead of difficult clients, the 2-hour absence still feels significant. So Reddit AIKA for being annoyed by my fiancé's secret hobby, and the way he's handling it? How do we find a balance between his passion and our relationship? Should I try to embrace his inner rogue, or is it reasonable to ask him to scale back his online adventures for the sake of our real-life one? Update 1, 3 hours later. Wow, so many responses. Thanks for the different perspectives. A lot of you are saying I should be more supportive and maybe even try to participate. Some of you are pointing out that the secrecy was the real issue, not the hobby itself. And a few of you are deeply concerned about the spoon-sword fights. Don't worry, no actual cutlery is involved, just enthusiastic sound effects. Liam just came out of his client call. Old habits die hard, I guess. I showed him some of your comments. He looked surprised by the range of reactions. He admitted that he was probably overthinking my reaction and that the secrecy had become a habit. He's agreed to try and be more transparent. He even showed me some clips of his streams. I have to admit, he's actually pretty good. He's got this whole dramatic voice thing down, and his Jax character is surprisingly engaging. Update 2, 6 hours later. We had a long talk. Liam explained that the Tuesday and Thursday schedule was partly driven by his regular gaming group's availability. It's not just a solo Twitch thing, it's a collaborative storytelling experience with friends he's made online. He's offered a compromise. Maybe shorten the sessions slightly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or alternate weeks where he streams. He also suggested we could have a date night in the spare room sometime, me watching him play, maybe even offering some gentle heckling. The thought of me in the chat yelling, "Your rogue is an idiot," is actually kind of amusing. He also apologized for the secrecy. He said he was worried I'd think he was wasting his time, or that it was childish. It made me realize I hadn't always been the most open about my own nerdy hobbies in the past, so maybe I contributed to that lack of openness. Update 3, 12 hours later. I did it. I watched part of Liam's Thursday night stream. It was surprisingly entertaining. His Jax character was trying to negotiate a peace treaty between two warring gnome factions, and the whole thing was surprisingly dramatic. The chat was actually quite supportive and funny. I even typed a few messages. My username? Liam's skeptical fiancé. Liam's reaction when he saw it pop up was priceless. We're not completely there yet. We still need to figure out a better balance for our evenings. But the wall of secrecy has definitely come down. I understand his hobby more now, and he understands that the hiding was more hurtful than the actual role-playing. We're planning a Jax-themed dinner next week. I'm supposed to come up with a potion cocktail. This could get interesting. Thanks for all your advice, Reddit. Sometimes, a little outside perspective, and the revelation of a secret online life, is what a relationship needs to level up. I'll let you know if I ever decide to join his campaign. My character would probably be a very sarcastic cleric. Final update, 20 minutes later real time. Okay, so the Jax-themed dinner happened. My potion cocktail involved way too much blue curacao. But the important thing is, we talked more. Liam realized that while his online community is important, our real-life one needs nurturing too. He's agreed to shorten his Tuesday sessions and keep Thursdays as his main adventure night. We're going to dedicate Tuesdays to us, movie nights, cooking together, actually talking without the sounds of goblins in the background. He's even started incorporating little inside jokes from our relationship into his role-playing, which is both hilarious and surprisingly sweet. Last night, Jax tried to haggle for a discount using a line Liam once used on me at a farmer's market. The secrecy is gone, the laughter is back, and I'm slowly accepting that my fiancé has a secret life as a charismatic online rogue. It's definitely not what I envisioned when we got engaged, but hey, life's an adventure, right? Thanks again for the advice, Reddit. You helped us roll a critical success on this relationship challenge. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to figure out how to make a healing potion that doesn't taste like blue raspberry regret.